Hello, primary 6 children. As usual, welcome to lesson 36. Teacher Jackson as usual. And we are still pushing on with our topic of growth, development, and reproduction. We said there are two types of reproduction. That is sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. But what you need to know, we summarized the asexual reproduction, and now we are now talking about sexual reproduction, which involves joining or union of gametes. Today we are going to look at the reproductive organ or the reproductive system, and we are starting with the female reproductive organ. As I told you in cattle, that pay attention when we're looking at reproduction in cattle, because I told you work is the same. That is why I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this. So this is our female reproductive organ or female reproductive system, and it is a cross section which shows us the internal parts of this organ. And I know this organ, you have it in your books. You drew it under cattle. I explained it very well. So it is a matter of now opening the book and then you get the parts. So this work we discussed, and now we are repeating ourselves. Just open the book and you follow the lesson now. This is our cross-section of this organ. It has got the following parts. It has this part here called the vulva. That part is called the vulva. This one here is called the vagina or the birth canal. Then here we have the cervix. Here we have the urethra. You are seeing the urinary bladder. It is here. There is the womb here, or the uterus. Then we have funnel of the oviduct. It is here. Then this one here, you know very well that it is the what? The ovary. And we say there are two ovaries. Funnel of the oviduct is here. Uterus walls or uterine lining, this one is here. Then we have the oviduct, which you also call the fallopian tube. It is here. So those are the parts we have, and we said this organ is protected by the pelvis. Is protected by the pelvis, and that is the cross section of the female reproductive organ. Now we are going to functions of parts. Vulva, we are starting with the vulva here. What is the function of the vulva? We said it protects the vagina from external damage. Protects the vagina from external damage, and it is the part that receives the penis and directs it into the vagina. It receives the penis and directs it into the vagina. I told you that part works like the gatekeeper who receives the visitors and directs the visitors where they are going. From the vulva, we got the vagina. I told you the vulva is out, the vagina is inside. Birth canal, what is the work of the birth canal? It is where semen is deposited. It is where semen is deposited. And I told you semen is a liquid containing semen as a fluid together with sperm cells. Okay? So that is where it is deposited. 2, now I'm giving you the reason why it is called birth canal. It is a passage of the baby during giving birth. And remember, giving birth in cattle, we also called it patrition or calving. So during giving birth, the baby passes through the vulva. Why is the vulva able to do that? It is elastic and muscular. It is elastic and muscular. Urinary bladder, it stores urine for some time. Then urethra, it is a passage of urine from the urinary bladder out of the body. And remember, when urine is flowing from the urinary bladder, we said it is controlled by the sphincter muscles of the urinary bladder. Then it gets out through the urethra. It is a matter of opening your book and you follow the work. Then cervix, it closes the lower end of the uterus during pregnancy. Under the signs of pregnancy, we said the cervix closes up. Now, what does it close? It closes the lower end of the uterus during pregnancy. The cervix also prevents foreign materials like the penis from entering the uterus. Remember, the uterus is a delicate organ, and when the penis enters there, it may get damaged. So what prevents the penis from entering the uterus? That is the cervix. So it is the door to the uterus. If it doesn't open for you, you don't enter. So when the animal or when the person or the woman becomes pregnant, the lower end of the uterus is closed up by the cervix. And it is among the signs of pregnancy. Then we have the uterus or womb. It is where implantation takes place. It is where implantation takes place. I remember this term, we talked about it under the terms used in cattle. What is implantation? The attachment of a zygote on the uterus walls is called the implantation. So it takes place in the uterus or on the uterus walls. The uterus also provides favorable conditions for the development of the fetus. For the development of the what? Of the fetus. Dear children, who remembers the difference between a zygote and a fetus? We said a zygote is a fertilized ovum. A fertilized ovum is a zygote. Or you can say zygote is a result got after fertilization. Okay? Then I told you that when that zygote reaches 8 weeks, those are 2 months, it is no longer called a zygote. We call it a fetus. So a fetus is a zygote of 8 weeks and above. A zygote of 8 weeks and above is the one we call a fetus. Then a zygote is a result got after fertilization, or a zygote is a fertilized ovum, or a zygote is a fertilized female gamete. Then the uterus also provides area for the development of the fetus. That space you see, that area is provided by the uterus for the development of the fetus. This uterus also helps in the pushing of the baby during giving birth. How? By contracting and relaxing. That's why I told you the other time that the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the uterus walls for the baby to come out is called the labor pain. That pain received when there is rhythmic contraction and relaxation. And I told you that one is brought by a hormone called the oxytocin hormone. All that work we studied. So when a woman is going to give birth, the uterus helps in the pushing through contraction and relaxation, which is brought by oxytocin hormone produced by the pituitary glands. Then oviducts or fallopian tubes, there are 2. One left, another one right. So we have the left fallopian tube and then the right fallopian tube. It is where fertilization takes place. That one is known. Fertilization, internal fertilization in animals takes place in the oviduct. And what is fertilization? Fertilization is the joining. Fertilization is the union of the nuclei of a male and a female gametes to form a zygote. Union or joining of the nuclei of a male and a female gamete to form a zygote. It is called fertilization. It takes place in the oviduct. In the oviduct still, it is where conception takes place. Where conception takes place. When fertilization takes place, a zygote is formed. Immediately, the cells of the zygote begin to develop. Okay? Then, oviduct, it is also a passage of the zygote as it is going to the uterus. When a zygote is formed after fertilization, as it is going to the uterus for implantation, it passes through the oviduct or fallopian tube. So it is a passage of the zygote from the oviduct to the uterus. Then we have ovaries. There are also 2. We have left ovary and right ovary. Ovaries produce mature ova into the oviduct. The work of the ovaries is to produce mature ova into the oviduct. Since they produce ova and ova are gametes, so ovaries are gonads. You remember we talked about gonads, even Teacher Wens talked about it. A gonad produces a gamete. Okay? So the female gonads in animals, those are the ovaries. So they produce mature ova into the oviduct. And class, what do we call that process? Where the ovaries produce mature ova into the oviduct. That process is called ovulation. That process is called ovulation. And remember, ovulation is controlled by a hormone called oestrogen hormone, which you can also call estrogen hormone. Another function of the ovaries, they also produce reproductive hormones. They also produce hormones, and these hormones are good during reproduction. That's why I'm calling them reproductive hormones, like estrogen hormone, which is also called oestrogen hormone, and this one controls ovulation as a process. Then we have the follicle-stimulating hormone. This one stimulates the follicles, which are called the Graafian follicles found in the ovaries, to produce mature ova. Then we have the progesterone hormone. This one is for thickening of the uterus lining. Why should the uterus lining thicken? They have to thicken in order they prepare themselves to receive the zygote for implantation. So when fertilization takes place and the zygote is formed, this progesterone hormone produced by the ovaries rush very fast to go to the uterus and causes the thickening of the uterus lining. We also have other hormones like luteinizing hormone. One of the hormones is also produced by the ovaries, and many others. I've just brought few. This is a point to note. Oestrogen hormone or estrogen hormone controls the secondary sex characteristics in females. This is the hormone that controls secondary sex characteristics in females. And then in males, you studied, that is testosterone hormone produced by the testicles. Another work of progesterone hormone is that this hormone also increases blood supply to the uterus walls. It increases blood supply to the uterus walls. And it is also responsible for the thickening of the uterus walls in preparation for implantation. Funnel of the oviduct as our next part. This one protects the ovary. It protects the ovary from external damage, and it also helps to direct the mature ovum into the oviduct. When the ovaries produce mature ova, those ova are directed to the oviduct by the help of this part called funnel of the oviduct, which you can also call oviduct funnel. Now, the other one was a cross section. This is now a vertical section of the female reproductive organ. Vertical means I drew it when I cut it from up to the bottom and I got only one side. That is why I'm having one ovary, I'm having part of the uterus, okay? So automatically when you see the ovary here, this one becomes the fallopian tube, funnel of the oviduct, Uterus or womb is here, cervix is here, vagina is here, vulva is here. Okay? Then front of the pelvic girdle, this is the one that protects the reproductive organs. Urinary bladder is there, urethra is here. So I didn't bring it to show you that they are different. No, these ones are the same, only that the other one was a cross section. This one is a vertical section. Dear children, allow me to stop here, and this is our activity. They are only, in fact, there are few numbers, yet you are big people. There are few numbers. It is a matter of replaying the video. Answer this activity with good handwriting, and then I need only correct answers. I wish you well. Stay safe. Wash your hands with flowing water and soap. Sanitize. Wear face masks. Don't walk anyhow with public, so that you stay safe. God bless you.